Good morning. I'll call to order the Arapahoe County Board of County Commissioners meeting today, July 11th, 2017. And to my left is Ron Carl, County Attorney, and to my right is Jolene Sanchez, Assistant Clerk to the Board. Ms. Sanchez, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Jackson, here. Commissioner Holland?
Here.
Commissioner Conti?
Good morning.
Good morning. Commissioner Baker?
Here.
Commissioner Sharp?
Here. Okay, Commissioner Conti, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Carl, are there any modifications to the agenda this morning?
I'd just like to make a note that the assessor's report that goes with item 5D on your consent agenda has a copy of that report has been provided to you all on the dais, and another copy has been provided to the clerk and will be made part of the record.
Thank you, Mr. Carl. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Holland, seconded by Commissioner Baker. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion passes unanimously. Now is the citizens' comment period. Anyone who would like to speak on any issue that is not on the agenda today? Okay. Seeing no one, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I'm going to give you just a second to look at that since you did not have the assessor's report. Just take a minute to look that over, and then we'll go forward with the consent agenda. Are there any questions on this report? And if not, we'll move forward with I'll ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion that we approve the consent agenda as discussed.
Motion made by Commissioner Baker, seconded by Commissioner Holland. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. We have... Turn over here. We have two general business items today. Both of them are public hearings, and the first one is P16-014 Copperleaf Filing 13 Final Plat. And our presenter today is Mr. Bill Skinner, Senior Planner, Public Works and Development. Our attorney is Senior Assistant Attorney, County Attorney, Mr. Robert Hill. Mr. Hill, would you set the foundation, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This matter has been noticed in accordance with the Land Development Code. The Board has jurisdiction to proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Mr. Skinner.
Good morning, Board. So, Copperleaf final plat in Copperleaf. Copperleaf is on Quincy Boulevard over just west of E470. This particular application is a request for a final plat that's on the southwest corner of the intersection of East Quincy Avenue and Copperleaf Boulevard. The applicant is Copperleaf Senior Living, LLC. Sorry. Yeah, that's right. Copperleaf Senior Living, LLC is the applicant on behalf of South Quincy Highlands residential investors, who all of us know as the Frank family. And they're taking an existing 35-acre lot, 33.5 acre lot and dividing it into 5 lots. Staff has a application under review for one of those properties that is a separate application that was on the consent agenda today, but this largely is the plat. So staff has reviewed it, compared it to county regulations, which are largely driven by state regulations, and we find that it complies with the county regulations, and it's complete, and we're recommending approval for it. Being a plat, there's not a lot of details to talk about except are the lines accurate in the right place, and we find that they are. I can take questions or supply more anecdotal information.
I just had a few, and they were really just from the like the Colorado Geological Survey and ECCV that had noted a couple of things. Well, not the Geological Survey. They just talked about the soil conditions, and just to confirm that has all been taken into account in the development of any property. I think they're probably pretty much the same in that area. And then ECCV had some, I was looking here, but the connection of a pipe needed to be changed. And I just wanted to make sure that sanitary sewer connection didn't match in the review for submittal, but all of those things have been addressed.
We worked through it, and ultimately ECCV provided a will serve letter that we added as an addendum to their original comment letter. The geological conditions, we can talk to either. We have Richard Frank here, who is Copperleaf's master developer, or we have George Swintz here, who is working on the individual one of the lots in this 5-lot subdivision. But by and large, conditions will be the same as they are across Copperleaf.
Yeah.
So quite a lot of it's been constructed and remains standing to this day. So however you'd like to proceed, we're happy to accommodate.
Maybe I'll ask Mr. Frank to maybe talk a little bit about what you're finding. You know, you've been developing out there for quite a while, but in these all the soil conditions that soil and bedrock, low density, low strength, wind deposited silts, clays, and sands. So what have you been doing out there in the development to kind of mitigate?
Over excavation on just about everything.
Okay.
A lot of dirt's going to be moved around on this site. It's got a lot of topo to it. And so it's going to be leveled out somewhat, but it'll be over-exed. Right.
Okay. And I forgot to ask you for your address.
7400 East Orchard Road, Greenwood Village, 80111.
Thank you. Okay. Well, I kind of figured that's what we've seen in the past, is that you really have to
Everything
dig that
there
out.
The soil is not the best out there, and everything's been over-exed according to the soil reports. Usually it's about 10 feet under the bottom floor.
Okay. Great. Any other questions? Commissioner Baker.
Good morning, Mr. Frank.
Hi.
Will this be slab on grade, or will they be on the piers? Do you know if
Slab on.
slab on grade? Okay, and so that's another reason for the over excavation.
Right.
And okay, that was my only question.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Frank? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Any other questions of any kind for the applicant? Commissioner Conti.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just wondering, has there, in the excavation process, has there been any evidence of expansive soil, such as bentonite or others, that we think long-term may be problematic, especially when we're considering slab on grade?
If you just
My name is
state your
George
name and
Swintz.
address.
I'm the applicant, and my address is 3300 East First Avenue in Denver. We have a detailed soils report by a qualified engineer that tells us, after drilling extensive number of holes under the foundation of the building and actually under the streets, what type of soils we're dealing with, and then they make recommendations to our architect, Kevin Karras, who's here, that has his team of structural engineers that design the foundation for us. So we've seen worse soils. We know how to deal with those soils, and it's our intent that we design the building so there aren't a lot of tolerances. The tolerance is tight. Some people will design it so that the floor will float for quite a few inches. And, we try to avoid that because we've got seniors living here and we need a level floor. So we're really conscious of the structural aspects and the soil aspects of the site.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you. All right. I will open the public hearing comment period. I have several people on here that, and I'm not sure if they're all part of the applicant. So Roy Bierschenk, do I have that? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry. Okay. Copperleaf, I don't have anyone. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this issue? Okay, seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. And are there any further questions of staff? If not, I'll ask for a motion.
Madam Chair, in the case of P16-004, Copperleaf filing number 13 final plat, I have reviewed the staff report, including all exhibits and attachments, and have listened to the applicant's presentation and any public comment as presented at the hearing, and hereby move to approve this application based on the findings in the staff report, subject to the following conditions. 1. Prior to signature of the final copy of these plans, the applicant must address Public Works staff comments and concerns. 2. Prior to signature of the final copy of these plans, the applicant will address comments and concerns forwarded by the following agencies: East Cherry Creek Valley Water and Sanitation District, Xcel Energy, Cunningham Fire Protection District, E470 Authority, and the Colorado Geological Survey.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion, ma'am.
Motion made by Commissioner Baker, seconded by Commissioner Holen. Any further comments, questions? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you all very much. Okay, we will move on to public hearing P17-001, Knox Court Minor Subdivision. Presenter, again, is Mr. Bill Skinner, Senior Planner, Public Works and Development. And our attorney on this matter is Robert Hill, Senior Assistant County Attorney. Mr. Hill, would you set the foundation, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This minor subdivision has likewise been noticed in accordance with the Land Development Code requirements, and the board has jurisdiction to proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Mr. Skinner.
Okay, minor subdivision is another form of a final plat, so to speak. This is a slightly different case. We had an applicant owner, Todd Rosen, who has a 9-acre property. It's over on the western fringe of our county enclave in near Sheridan, kind of at the near the intersection of Federal and 285, northwest of that. He's on the lot. He owns the lot. He's operating from the lot. There was a request for a fence permit that triggered, or to put up a fence, that triggered a fence permit process, that triggered a planning review of the permit process, and we found the lot had never been platted. The county does not issue building permits, fence permits, electrical permits on unplatted land. So we talked to Mr. Rosen about that, and he says, okay, what do we have to do? And we brought him to you with a plat process. So staff's always enthusiastic when we see unplatted lot come into a legal and proper plat situation. This has also been through a full plat review, and we find that it meets county regulations regarding a minor subdivision, and which we actually review by the final plat criteria. Staff recommends approval of this. Mr. Rosen is here, but a couple last-minute things have come up today, so we may hear something during a public hearing that we'll try and accommodate on the fly and work it out. But as far as I know, everything's still positive and good on this.
Questions for Mr. Skinner?
Well, you left us with a mystery.
I know.
I know.
Questions.
Well, imagine what it's like.
Know what that...
Imagine what it's like when you're supposed to have all the answers, and now I too have a mystery.
So, Commissioner Conti.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm just wondering, and maybe this is a question better reserved for the applicant, is this being done in effect to make the property more saleable?
We'll talk to Todd Rosen about that. My understanding is he wants to continue operating out of it.
Okay.
That's why he wanted a fence, and that's what started the ball rolling.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get to this on my computer. Okay. All right. Well, I think we'll hear from the applicant and see if we can solve the mysteries. Thank you.
Okay. Todd?
Good morning.
Welcome. If you state your name and address for the record, please.
Todd Rosen, and my address is 7430 East Cayley Avenue, Suite 315 in Centennial.
Okay. Well, welcome. If you want to do, talk about, I think, some of the things that maybe have come up that we did not hear about, or what you would like to share with us this morning.
Sure. So I recently acquired this property. It's been about a year now through this process from when I bought the property. And the intention was to continue operating it the way it is, or the way it was, which was kind of a landscape business, so a contractor's yard. When I went in to apply for a new fence, the fence that's there now is all chain link fence, and it's patched, missing, leaning over, and I wanted to replace that. And that's when I, as a real estate guy, learned that some properties are not platted. And so when they explained that to me, I said, well, I want to be in compliance. Tell me what I need to do. And so they've been great at walking me through what I needed to do. My understanding is that this process is just to kind of tidy things up within the system. I'm not changing the zoning. I'm not changing any of the property lines. I'm not dividing it. I'm just continuing what's there now and the way that it's been ran for the past 30, 40 years, which the prior owner owned it for 40 years or so. So this morning, and just to clear up this, because it's in my opinion, a non-issue, but I got a call on the way over here from a neighbor that said, did you know that a little piece of your southeast corner fence is on my property? I said, no, I don't, but I'm interested in knowing. And so when we got here, we met with Woody Bryant, my engineer, and Scott, the neighbor, and he pointed out this little corner that and he wasn't terribly clear about it either, but he thought that at some point years ago, when the Hofschneiders, the prior owner, put up their fence, that the fence was a foot or two on his property. And there's this unique little corner of the property that's kind of, there's no access to it. And when I look over the fence, there's just a pile of old tires in there, but basically Scott said, hey, I just want to make sure you're aware of that. I don't need to bring it to the commissioner's attention. I gave him my card, and we agreed that we would meet out there and just peek at what the fence was. And Woody was going to look at the Alta survey to see how that showed up. And then Scott said that just some kind of letter acknowledging that the fence was on his property would be sufficient for him. And what I told him is that my intention is to replace most of the existing fence with the same fence that's there now, and that if there was a discrepancy, I would just put my fence on my property line, and then we would eliminate that. And he said that's not even necessary, but if you do that, that's fine. That's the extent of it.
Okay. So do we need, Mr. Skinner, do we need anything, or does this influence anything that we're approving today?
No, it doesn't. If anything, what you're approving today, the process that people went through when they surveyed the property and took a very detailed look at where ownership actually is, That will be helpful in clarifying where a fence can and should go. It sounds like it's an entirely separate issue dealing with surface construction and amicably worked out at this point. But as far as your plat goes, it's still legal and proper and approvable.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Rosen or? Okay. Commissioner Jackson. Oh,
Real quick, a bill.
sorry. Yes,
Just
Mr. Hill.
of clarification. So
Yes.
the fence location and the dispute as to where the fence location does not affect the actual boundary lines as will be established by this plat.
You're correct. The property was the minor subdivision, the plat document in that is based entirely on legal descriptions, not on looking at what's out there on the ground itself, with the exception of going and finding properly placed markers and pins and so forth, but not based on fence lines.
All right. Thank you. Commissioner Jackson.
Yeah, this is just sort of, thank you for resolving the mystery. And I just want to say I appreciate you working with your neighbor in such a collegial way, because often that's not what we hear here. So I really appreciate that. And whatever the resolution is, I think that's up to you and the neighbor. But appreciate your willingness to work with the county and your positive attitude. So I just wanted to say that.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Rosen? Okay. Seeing none, thank you. Okay, I'll open the public hearing, and now I have, I'm probably going to pronounce your name. Do you want to come on down and? Okay. But, okay, so you're for, but don't really want to speak. Okay, and so I have Mike also, and then I have Larry Church. Mr. Church, you want to come down and speak, or? Okay, so I'll put no wanted to speak. Now Mr. Church is at 3400 South Knox Court.
Right.
Okay, great. Okay, is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak on this before I close the public hearing? Okay, seeing no one, close the public hearing, and I'll ask for a motion.
Oh, Madam Chair. Madam Chair?
Oh, Commissioner Conti, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find it myself.
Let's see here. I want to make sure that I'm on the right. Yeah, that's what I'm wanting to make sure I'm on the right one. I think. Do we want?
184, page 184.
Thank you. It is that one. Okay, I was on the right one. The wording just kind of threw me a little bit. In the case of P 17-001, Knox Court filing, minor subdivision, I have reviewed the staff report, including all exhibits and attachments, and have listened to the applicant's presentation and any public comments as presented at the hearing, and hereby move to approve this application based on the findings in the staff report, subject to the following conditions. Prior to the signature of the final copy of these plans, the applicant will address all Public Works and Development staff comments. And 2, that the applicant will provide evidence of fugitive dust control, rodent control plans before the staff will forward plans to the BOCC for signatures.
Thank you. Motion made by Commissioner Conti. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second made by Commissioner Baker. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you all very much for being here this morning. Okay, are there any commissioner comments today? Okay, seeing none, meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
We all have babies.
I know.